How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Paul Ryan retiring from Congress effective January 2019, which means obviously he would not run for re-election in November in Wisconsin. Now, I've seen it coming a long way away. I'm not surprised at all. I'm thankful that it's actually happening. Paul Ryan, big time rhino. I did not like him during the election. He was one of the never Trumpers. Remember he came out with that video talking about politics these days. I thought at that point he was trying to throw his name into the hat of the Republican hopefuls to dethrone Trump, to get him out of the way so he could continue whatever he wanted to do as far as the swamp rat activities are concerned. In this case, I think he's trying to reignite that. When I say reignite that, I'm talking about him running for president. Oh, yeah, because he can retire from Congress. He can say, OK, I'm done. And he can give the excuse, well, I don't want to be a weekend dad anymore. My kids are getting older, this, that, and the third. But I doubt he's actually telling the truth. He's saying that right now, but let's wait a little bit. Let's wait until the end of the year. Let's wait till November, and then let's see what's happening. Let's see when the hopefuls or Republicans come into fruition, when they come into full focus. Okay, I think Trump was already announced or has started to gather his 2020 team, so we know he's going to try to run again. And you have Mike Pence right there. He's going to be obviously the vice president. He's not going to step down or resign, so we know that he's going to be a lock-in. Who's going to be the opponent against Trump? Paul Ryan might put his name in there now rather than trying to do it late in the game, which is what I think he tried to do last time, but it didn't really catch on. It was too little too late. By that time, Trump had pretty much already clinched the nomination, and there was not much that he or anybody else could do to change that. Now, in Paul Ryan's defense, he did say he did not want to be the Speaker of the House back in 2015 when he was put into that position, back when John Boehner resigned. So I give him that. He didn't really want to do it. However, I think the timing of him resigning right now or announcing it is very peculiar. Number one, he's doing it in April. Okay, you got the elections coming up in November. If he decides, or when he decides, either one, to begin his 2020 presidential campaign, he'll probably do that right around November time. He put out little things here and there the same way he did during the 2016 campaign. Okay, so I think that might be what he does. If he does not run for president, he'll probably try to run for governor of Wisconsin or something like that, so he can be closer to home rather than being, you know, this big guy that has to be responsible for everything. And one thing I want to say about him trying to run for president is, if you don't want to be responsible for everything, how are you going to be the president? See, I think that it's not even really about his position currently. It's about trying to position himself for higher roles, for higher positions. And I just wish he would be honest. You know, it was funny during the press conference he had, which I will link in the box below. He was talking about being, you know, not really a politician, trying to be honest, trying to be transparent, but I was able to see through that, and it's pretty ironic. You want to be transparent, but at the same time, you're being kind of cloudy, and I can see through that. It's pretty weird. But does he have a chance? I doubt it, especially if Trump, or when Trump runs again. I mean, the incumbent, first of all, has a much better chance of being able to succeed over somebody trying to come in and take their place. He might try to run in 2024, but it doesn't really make sense to resign right now, unless what he was saying about being close to his kids and not wanting to be a weekend dad is actually true. Maybe he wants to see his kids grow up and be around them more, so he can retire right now, go chill at home, do some NGO type stuff in the meantime, do some speaking engagements here and there wherever he wants, but he doesn't have to have that grind and the weight on his shoulders of being the Speaker of the House. But like I said, I've seen it coming. I'm glad. One rhino out, swamp rat out. Trump gave him a lot of credit, and I think that was pretty big of Trump to not come down on him and attack him. I think Mitt Romney also gave us some credit, and I will play some tweets on the screen before you so you can see exactly what they said. Trump's being a good guy. Mitt Romney pretty much does whatever he is instructed to do by Trump, in my humble opinion. Mitt Romney wants to come across as like being a rebel, all this, that, and the third, but he'll kiss the ring wherever he needs to actually do it. So I don't have too much more to say. I just want to put it out there that I think he will try to run for president or some other bigger office. I think the excuse about wanting to be close to his kids may or may not be true. It's probably about 50-50 true or false. It could be true, but at the same time, I think he'll violate that if it made sense for him to do so. If he decided he wanted to become the president, then he may try to run. Although I think he won't be successful because, like I said, you have the incumbent. Maybe he'll try in 2024. That'll be very interesting to see because as of right now, we don't really know who's going to be the candidates in 2020. And, you know, it's 2 years away. We need to be working on it now because I remember last time in 2015, early, we knew who it was going to be. So we only got a few more months before we have the picture of the 2020 race in full focus. And I think Paul Ryan will be in this race. And if he's not, it'll definitely be 2024. So what do you think? Do you think it was high time for Paul Ryan to leave? Do you think that this is a long time coming? Are you glad? Are you sad? What are your thoughts about Paul Ryan in general? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he a swamp rat? Is he part of the deep state? Is he somebody that was an anti-Trumper during the election? Is he an anti-Trumper now? In Paul Ryan's defense, he did give Trump some credit. I won't say he gave him a lot of credit, but he did give him some credit. He was saying that he's thankful that Trump was able to get elected because you have Republican control of the White House. So you're able to get a lot of things done that benefit conservatives. But I think that he resents Trump for being there. I'm pretty sure he wishes that it was not Trump there. Maybe they had Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, or maybe himself. That'd be much better for the Republican brand in his mind. That's just my thoughts on it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.
I wanted to share with you a little of what I just told my colleagues a few minutes ago. You realize something when you take this job. It's a big job with a lot riding on you, and you feel it. But you also know that this is a job that does not last forever. You realize that you hold the office for just a small part of our history. So you better make the most of it. It's fleeting. And that inspires you to do big things. And on that score, I think we have achieved a heck of a lot. You all know that I did not seek this job. I took it reluctantly. But I have given this job everything that I have. And I have no regrets whatsoever for having accepted this responsibility. This has been one of the two greatest honors of my life. The job provides incredible opportunities. But the truth is, it's easy for it to take over everything in your life. And you can't just let that happen. Because there are other things in life that can be fleeting as well. Namely, your time as a husband and a dad, which is the other great honor of my life. That's why today I am announcing that this year will be my last one as a member of the House. To be clear, I am not resigning. I intend to full my served term as I was elected to do. But I will be retiring in January, leaving this majority in good hands with what I believe is a very bright future. It's almost hard to believe, but I have been a member of Congress for almost 2 decades. This is my 20th year in Congress. My kids weren't even born when I was first elected. Our oldest was 13 years old when I became Speaker. Now, all 3 of our kids are teenagers. And one thing I've learned about teenagers is their idea of an ideal weekend is not necessarily to spend all of their time with their parents. What I realize is if I am here for one more term, my kids will only have ever known me as a weekend dad. I just can't let that happen. So I will be setting new priorities in my life. But I will also be leaving incredibly proud of what we have accomplished. Some of you know my story. My dad died when I was 16, the age my daughter is. And I just don't want to be one of those people looking back at my life thinking I spent more time with my kids when I know if I spend another term, they will only know me as a weekend father. So I'm really proud of what we've been able to do. When I took this job, one of my conditions was that we aim high, that we do big things, that we fashion an agenda, that we run on that agenda, that we win an election, and then we execute that agenda. I am so proud that that is exactly what we have done and what we are doing right now. We've accomplished so much since then. Probably the two biggest achievements for me are, first, the major reform of our tax code for the first time in 36 years, which has already been a huge success for this country, and that's something I've been working on in my entire adult life. Second, something I got much, much more invested on since becoming Speaker, is to rebuild our nation's military. And after tax reform addressing our military readiness crisis, that was a top priority that we got done last month as well. These I see as lasting victories that will make this country more prosperous and more secure for decades to come. There are so many other things that we have gotten done. And of course, I'm going to look back proudly on my days at the Budget Committee and the Ways and Means Committee. But I don't want to be too sentimental here. I want to be clear, I'm not done yet. I intend to run through the tape to finish the year. Some of you wonder why I can't just do the normal politician thing, and which is to run and then retire after the election. That is what I'm told is the politically shrewd thing to do. I considered that. But just as my conscience is what got me to take this job in the first place, my conscience could not handle going out that way. I pledged to serve the people of Wisconsin in the 1st District honorably. And in order to serve the people in my district honorably, I have to serve them honestly. And for me to ask them to vote to re-elect me, knowing that I wasn't going to stay, is not being honest. So I simply cannot do that. So that's why I'm announcing this today. Again, I am proud of what this conference has achieved, and I believe its future is bright. The economy is strong. We've given Americans greater confidence in their lives. And I have every confidence that I'll be handing this gavel on to the next Republican Speaker of the House next year. So just to close, I said earlier that I didn't want this job at first. And most of you know this. I really actually didn't. But I have to thank my colleagues for giving me this opportunity and this honor. I am really grateful for it. I also want to thank the people of Southern Wisconsin for placing their trust in me as their representative for the past 20 years. I've tried to bring as much Wisconsin to Washington as I can in that time. It's been a wild ride, but it's been a journey well worth taking to be able to do my part to strengthening the American idea. That pursuit is never ending. Much work remains, but I like to think I have done my part, my little part in history to set us on a better course. Thank you.